Hello and welcome. In the previous video you've optimized the code with a sync await syntax and you've called text query endpoint. In this video we'll extract all the chatbot code into a separate module. All the routes will just call the exposed methods in the module. What I want to do now is separate the chatbot code from routes. Routes should be clean and simple. All the dialog flow calling, action handling should be done by a separate module. Routes don't need to know how it is done. Therefore, let's begin with creating a folder in the root called Chatbot. New folder called Chatbot. And inside a new file called chatbot.js. Okay, first we'll add the useString syntax and a module exports. Okay, like this. Now module exports can have a function in here. I'll call it text query. Here the text query call will go, and it will be an async function. It will accept text parameter like this. And to use it, we'll need all the configs, client initializations that we now have in the routes file. Let's copy it here. And now we'll move everything except the part where we send a response. Okay. Now most of the code is moved to chatbot module. We need to return the response. Return response. Okay. And in the routes file we need to import chatbot module. Go to routes file and require it. Const chatbot equal requires two dots /chatbot/chatbot. And now we can call it let responses equals await chatbot docked text query and pass in the rec.body.text. Okay, this is it. But before we move on, I'd like to add support for parameters. With the text query search, we can send present parameters for dialog flow. Therefore, I'll add another parameter here, and I'll send rec.body.parameters to the method. Even if we don't support it yet, we'll add the support now. So go to chatbot module and add parameter named parameters. I'll set it to be an empty object as default, like this. And now, how do we send parameters along with the text query? I've added documentation to the video, but we do it like this. We add another property here, called query params. Query params is an object that has a property payload. Okay, payload. And payload is another object with property data. Like this. Data then becomes parameters object received from the client. Okay, cool. Oh, and this here must be text from parameters, like this. We are now on our way. Now we can pass parameters to dialog flow. And just one more thing. What I'll do here is show you that we'll be handling actions in the future. I'll add a handle action function to the module. Handle action is a function that expects response and will for now only return it, like this. Now we can call it just before we return a response to root handler. And now what? Well, we've come to some JavaScript thing. How can we call handle action? If we just call it by writing its name, it won't work. Also, this will be undefined. What we need to do is add here at the top, I prefer to have it here, let self equals module dot exports. This is how we access another module exports method. Now we can call the method by writing responses equals await self dot handle action and pass in response. like this. Save the file. So self became the module exports and we were able to access the handle action method. Good, let's try it out. Yes, we don't need to restart the server. We can have the server running, update the code, and it will automatically refresh it for us. If you did stop the server, you need to go to terminal and write npm run backend. Server needs to be running when you go to service data. So go back to service data and click the send request button. This will resend the request. And it is still working, great. In this video, you've separated all the chatbot logic into separate modules, and you've added support for sending parameters along with text requests. You've also added a function for handling actions. It's currently just a placeholder method, but we'll implement it later on. In the process, you've learned how to invoke methods from module exports within the same module exports. Great job! In the next video, we can implement event query. See you soon!